For 8 months, I felt like a stranger in my own marriage. My name is Daniel, I'm 38, and I used to think my wife Lauren and I had a strong, unbreakable marriage. We had been together for 11 years, had a beautiful 9-year-old daughter, and lived in a comfortable suburban home in Ohio. From the outside, our life looked perfect, smiling in photos, attending school events, hosting weekends with neighbors. But inside, the connection that once felt unshakable was slipping away quietly. It started after Lauren's promotion at her marketing firm. I was proud of her and supported her long hours, late nights, and added responsibilities. I handled the house, helped our daughter with homework, cooked meals, and reminded her how much I admired her. I told myself this was just a busy season, and that's strong. Marriages survive tough times. What I didn't expect was that the stress would push us apart. Small things became painful. Her hugs felt distracted. Conversations became short and practical, and her warmth faded. When I reached for her hand, she would say she was tired. At night, she would quietly turn away. I tried talking to her, telling her I felt rejected, but she brushed it off as stress, saying I was overthinking. Months of gentle rejections added up, and I began to pull back. I stopped sending sweet messages, stopped planning surprises, stopped initiating closeness, all to protect myself. By the time our anniversary came, I realized celebrating felt meaningless. Every year, I had planned something special, a dinner, a trip, a handwritten note. But this time, I did nothing. I secretly made a reservation, then canceled it. No gifts, no flowers, no mention of the date. I hoped she might remember on her own, but October 14th passed like any normal day. She noticed nothing prepared and asked, "Aren't we doing anything tonight?" I looked at her exhausted and said, "I didn't think it mattered anymore." That night, after our daughter slept, I told her the truth. Months of rejection had hurt me deeply. I felt invisible, and celebrating one day means nothing if the rest of the year is spent apart emotionally. She cried, admitting she hadn't realized how much distance she had created. I didn't cancel the anniversary to punish her. I did it because I couldn't pretend everything was fine anymore. That night, she finally understood that silence can be louder than words, and that love survives only when both people reach for each other. After that night, a strange tension settled between us, but it was different from before. This was the silence where truth finally began to emerge. Lauren sat across from me, her eyes filled with regret and worry, as if she was realizing for the first time what she was about to lose. She spoke softly, explaining that after her promotion, the pressure had become overwhelming, that she was carrying responsibilities at work and home that felt impossible to manage, and in her effort to cope, she had unintentionally pushed me away. She admitted she had been struggling with anxiety for months, restless nights, and constant effort to appear perfect in every setting. Yet in that race, she couldn't find peace even at home. I listened quietly because for the first time she was opening her heart fully, but I had my own truth to share. I told her how repeated rejection had chipped away at my confidence, how I began questioning if I was still enough for her, still attractive, still needed. I explained that being turned away over and over makes a person shrink inside, and months of emotional distance create scars that don't heal overnight. She cried, admitting she never meant to hurt me, but I gently explained that intentions don't erase impact. I told her I was no longer angry, only exhausted. And exhaustion is more dangerous than resentment, because it signals that one has stopped fighting. That night, we talked openly about our fears, insecurities, and hopes. For the first time in months, she held my hand firmly and said she didn't want to lose us. I told her that words alone wouldn't fix the months of neglect, that we needed real effort, time, and willingness to rebuild trust. We decided to seek marriage counseling and dedicate time to reconnect. I still felt a small hesitation because healing takes time, and trust cannot be rushed. But for the first time, we acknowledged the problem instead of pretending it didn't exist. That night made me realize that love doesn't survive on presence alone. It requires attention, effort, and mutual care. Silence can either destroy or awaken a relationship. And that night, for the first time, it awakened ours. When the day of our anniversary arrived, I realized that the gap that had formed between us could no longer be filled with words or simple gestures. Every year, I had planned something special for our anniversary, a dinner at a restaurant, small gifts or a short trip to show her that I valued her and our relationship. But this year I did nothing. I silently canceled the reservation. Didn't buy any gifts, didn't order flowers, and didn't even mention the date. A small part of me hoped that Lauren would remember on her own and take the initiative. But from morning to evening, she remained busy as if it were any ordinary day. When she came home and saw that nothing had been prepared, she asked in surprise, "Aren't we celebrating anything today?" I looked at her without anger or blame and calmly said, "I thought it didn't matter anymore." That night, everything changed. After our daughter went to bed, we sat across from each other at the kitchen table, and I finally told Lauren the truth. That months of distance and rejection had broken me inside, that I felt unnecessary, and that celebrating one day meant nothing if the rest of the year lacked emotional presence and love. Tears filled her eyes as she admitted that she hadn't realized how deeply her neglect had affected me. I explained that I hadn't canceled the anniversary to punish her, but because I could no longer endure the pain, and that we truly needed to make an effort to save our love. We decided to dedicate time to our relationship, seek guidance together, and actively work to bridge the gap that had formed between us. That night I felt for the first time that simply being together wasn't enough. We needed to live for each other, understand each other, and feel each other. Silence can either destroy a relationship or bring it back to life. And that night, for us, that silence became a force that began to reconnect us. After that night, we decided to make a new beginning. But I knew that every wound would take time to heal and rebuilding. Trust would require patience. We acknowledged our mistakes and agreed that from now on, every small moment would matter, that we would live for each other every day, not just physically, but emotionally as well. Lauren promised she would no longer hide her stress and fears, but would share them with me so we could find solutions together. I promised myself that I would never again withdraw into silence, but would keep my feelings and thoughts clear and honest. We began taking small steps for our future, cooking together, talking in the evenings, celebrating each other's small joys. In the quiet of that night, we realized that love does not survive on mere presence. It requires mutual attention, understanding, and emotional connection. I understood that silence can either destroy a relationship or revive it. And that night for us, it became the force that brought us back together. We vowed that from now on we would not just stay together, but live for each other, understand each other, and truly feel each other's presence. Promises alone are not enough in love. Real effort and heartfelt care are necessary. We spoke openly, acknowledged our weaknesses, and made sure that we would never again allow a distance to form that could separate truth and emotion between us. That night, for the first time, we realized that a relationship is preserved not by simply being together, but by understanding, feeling, and fighting for each other. And this realization brought us closer and reignited hope in our hearts.